Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. I'm Damon Campbell here at Lincoln Hall in Chicago with a very special guest.
I'm Gallant. What's going on, everyone?
Great to meet you, Gallant.
Yeah, pleasure.
Definitely appreciate your time once again.
Absolutely.
Now, prior to music, I understand you had aspirations to do cartoon voiceovers?
I mean, I wouldn't say I properly aspired, but it was a hobby of mine when nobody was around, and it continues to be a profession that is just incredibly fascinating to me.
Yeah.
And as many people in that industry I can meet, I'll continue to be blown away by the work that they do.
Totally. And when you're not watching cartoons, I understand you're a bit of a political junkie. What is it that draws you to politics?
I think I've never really been that into sports.
Okay.
I enjoy watching from time to time, but I'm not really like a staunch, supporter of any one team.
Yeah.
So politics, I guess, was my avenue for, whatever part of the brain that needs that kind of, just fan-based craziness. That's what it is for me.
Yeah. Does it have anything to do with your mom working for the government as well?
No. That's actually kind of a relatively recent thing.
Oh, is it?
So, but she's not, even though she's in the government, she's not necessarily in politics.
Yeah. What does she do exactly?
She works for one of the departments. They have like Department of A, B, C.
Justice.
So she's in one of the departments.
Awesome. And, cartoons and certain politicians as well, for that matter, may be fake, but it could certainly be said that your falsetto is the truth. And lyrically, I understand you like to, be uncomfortably honest as well. So are you more of the belief that the truth hurts or the truth heals, or perhaps a bit of both?
A little bit of both, I would definitely say, yeah.
Can you elaborate?
I would say that there are certain truths that are tough to accept. For example, just to be general, like the fact that life doesn't go on forever.
Yeah.
We are gonna die.
Yeah.
It is
tough pill to swallow.
Yeah, exactly. But same goes when you're trying to overcome a death in the family or something similar to that. The world doesn't necessarily have to end, and it doesn't necessarily have to be viewed with an overly pessimistic perspective that prevents any sort of growth or learning or moving on. But at the same time, knowing that fact can help you see the world in a more efficient light, I would say.
And in your case, you find that being so open, at least with yourself, helps bring you closer to your goal of becoming a better human?
Yeah, definitely.
Do you think that the concept of what it means to be a good human is different for everyone, and rightfully so, or that there's a certain set of criteria that each and every one of us should be striving towards, almost like a gold standard?
I would never want to impose my personal, like what I feel is, reaching a certain amount of personal success on anybody else. So I'm definitely a believer in the kind of individual plight, and so I'm sure that it's just different for everyone. But for me, it was really helpful to continue to get to a better mental space after every kind of project that I finished, or even after just every conversation that I had with myself.
What does that mental space consist of?
I think that for a long time there were certain periods of time where I personally closed myself off. I was always like a really quiet kid, very shy. So getting over that kind of thing was one of the biggest hurdles. And once you get over that big one, there are lots of little ones that you kind of start to see a little bit more clearly.
Yeah.
So as many of those as I can jump over, I'm totally fine with.
And if I'm not mistaken, the gold in your sad face logo represents, ironically, a silver lining, combining to portray like a hopeless optimism. Are you someone who always tries to look on the bright side?
Not necessarily, but I do believe that looking on the bright side is a very helpful tool that everybody should have in their toolbox. Yeah.
How did you react to being mistaken for a white usher in the early going?
I forget. Yeah, that was a while ago. I forgot about that. I don't know. I think there was a period of time where I didn't have a lot of pictures of myself online. And, I still don't really. So it was funny to see those comments pop up every now and then a couple years ago.
And, despite legends nowadays like Seal and Elton John singing your praises, among others, I noticed that you still have people who say, you're not black enough, you're not manly enough, you're not this, you're not that. But regardless of whether the feedback is positive or negative, I understand you tend to more so look inward for your sense of validation anyways?
Yeah, that stuff is, those are like tweets that I wrote not too long ago. But that, musically, everyone's going to say something. But I mean, this is stuff like in middle school. People were saying that. Like, it's just it gets old. It's silly, and it's petty. It doesn't really make any sense.
How important is that, do you think, to look inward?
Oh, I think it's very important. I think that you'll completely exhaust yourself if you're trying to. I don't even want to say please other. If you're trying to appear like a perfect specimen to every single person who's looking at you, it just doesn't really make sense to me.
Yeah. Do you still see deserts when you close your eyes?
Not all the time, but I do normally see a lot of landscapes.
Is that symbolic of anything, you think?
If it is, I haven't really been able to dig deep enough to step outside of myself and look at it from a third-person perspective to analyze it enough yet. Okay.
And you've mentioned how when you were living in New York, it was permeated with like this blind ambition, among other things. But did a McFlurry really play a part in you, ironically, deserting the city as well?
It did, yeah, because that was one of my, everyone has their thing where it's like, oh, this isn't going right. This is my one thing that that will put me in a better place.
Yeah.
And, right now it's, ultimately was moving to LA, but when I was in New York, it was really like the little things, and so I think that story was like, I was walking down into the subway and I had a McFlurry. It was kind of like not the best. I was not in the best spirits, and the dirt came up with the wind and just blew it right into my McFlurry, and then I realized that, okay, these little things are not enough, so I have to make the big thing. And the big thing for me was getting out of the city, getting back into the suburbs.
Yeah. And it sounds like LA has had all the right ingredients for success, but you still have reservations when it comes to some things that are Cali-related, specifically Hotel California.
Yeah. That's it's funny because I was in I got locked in a casino when I was like 19 in Atlantic City.
Okay.
Because I was writing music there. And Hotel California was just playing on loop, and we could not get out of this casino, and it was the most terrifying, like, just surreal experience of my life. And so that did make me have, not the best spirits of that. I'm sure it's a great song, like the Eagles are great.
Yeah, no disrespect.
But it's just after hearing it on loop, it was like, oh man,
How did you get locked in?
I have no idea.
Oh gosh.
I think it was like because I didn't drive or anything. At that time I had no transportation, and Atlantic City, there's no easy way to get back to New York. Other than like a bus, and the buses stop at a certain time. So after you miss one bus, they don't come back, and it was just it was a whole nightmare. Yeah. We didn't know anyone there really, so it was tough.
Do you consider love to be a bit of a gamble?
I think it depends. I think that most people know what they're getting into, I would say.
Yeah. Some guys tend to fall for the girl next door, which I understand you can relate to from a musical standpoint.
Yes, wow, yeah. That's a group from Japan that I don't tell a lot of people that I'm into, but yeah, it's a
Not to put you on blast.
No, I mean, I stand by. That's a great album, though.
Yeah.
Next Future by Girl Next Door.
How did you come across them?
I don't remember. I think it was. I think they had a song that was really popular like years ago, and then I heard that song, and then I just dug into the album.
Yeah, and you're a big fan of like Asian culture in general. Where does that stem from, you think?
I don't know. I've always been into it since I was a kid. Japan in particular, I've just always really thought. I think it's the most beautiful language in the world.
Yeah.
And I just really have an affinity for that.
You studied
culture.
it for a while as well?
Yeah, I did in college. Yeah, my goal was to be fluent, but unfortunately, if you don't use it, you lose it. So hopefully I can go back and take some more classes and
for sure.
Read some more literature, and I'll be ready to go.
Yeah. And winding up here, it seemed like the dance community was the first to kind of embrace you, which I find slightly ironic as well, in the sense that you're actually turned down by like 3 different girls to prom.
That's true. Yeah, the dance thing, I'm not exactly sure where, there's nothing really in my music that screams that to me. Yeah. So it's really interesting to see all these videos and to see that community has really embraced some of that stuff.
Totally.
I'm really humbled and honored that they like it.
Yeah, absolutely. And, in regards to prom, or life in general, I suppose, I understand you to be someone who actually enjoys their solitude and isolation to a certain extent. So how fine of a line is there, do you think, between physically being alone and feeling loneliness?
I think that's a very fine line, and I think that the world's kind of crossed multiple times. You can. That being said, you can also you can be around tons of people and feel intense loneliness.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a hard thing to navigate.
Like you
It's
had
not
in New
super
York,
black
for
and white.
example?
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Is there anything else you'd like people to know about Gallant?
I'm not sure. I think the main thing is I mean, this is my first headline tour, so
Yeah, congratulations, by the
thank
way.
you. And it's really been inspiring every night to meet these audiences, and they're so
Yeah.
eclectic, and they all just remind me of my friends,
Totally.
growing up. So I feel at home in every single room.
Well, thank you so much for your time, man. It was great chatting
course.
with you.
Thank you.
Best wishes with everything coming your way.
Thank you very
Any
much.
final thoughts at all before we say goodbye?
I hope you guys really like the music, and I hope to see you at a show soon.
Sweet. There you have it. Once again, I'm Damon Campbell, and this is Gallant.
I'm Gallant.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you, guys.